In this session we're going to model our panels for our facade and also a schematic structural frame. And for that we're going to need Grasshopper again and also a plugin for Grasshopper called Weaverbird. So make sure you have installed that plugin before starting this session. It's freely available on the website provided. So let's start by adding some layers. And let's call it Panels Mesh Exterior. Another one called Panels Mesh Interior. And let's copy over our course mesh exterior and interior to the layers we just created. And let's turn the course mesh off. Now let's start with our exterior, so let's switch the interior off. So the command we're going to use is called WB Catmull Clark. WB stands for Weaverbird, and those commands will be available if you install the Weaverbird plugin. So let's run the command. And it asks us first the level, which means the how many steps of subdivision we want. So we want more or less 3 subdivision steps. So let's switch this number to 3. The rest of the settings is fine. Naked edges is set to corner fixed, because we don't want our corners to be subdivided or smoothed out. Replace is set to yes because we want to replace original mesh. And keep on surface is set to no, which is fine. So let's select our mesh and simply hit enter. Now as you can see, the mesh got nicely smoothed out, and also we have now a sense of panelization of our facade, which is really nice. So let's repeat the same process for our interior. So let's switch off our exterior. Simply select our mesh and hit enter. So the only thing we need to do is to manually adjust the pinching that happens when the facade splits. So we need to select, it's best to select them both and switch on its control points. And let's go to the wireframe mode by right clicking on the shaded viewport button. And let's manually adjust those control points. It's kind of a tedious work, but it has to be done to be, well, a little bit more precise. The gumball is ideal to do these kind of adjustments, so I would suggest you use the gumball a lot for this. Now let's switch to the other side of the facade. Now if you're satisfied with the result, let's fire up Grasshopper and let's start generating the space frame. So simply type in Grasshopper in the command prompt. And let's start by linking in our two meshes, our interior and our exterior one. So let's insert a mesh parameter. So let's link in this one the exterior, and in the other one the interior. And let's switch off our mesh in Rhino, so we have it's a little bit more clear to see what we're going to do. Now first you want to extract the boundaries from the exterior one. So there's a command, there's a component in mesh, in the mesh toolbar. It's called face boundaries. So let's insert that one. Now from the interior mesh, you want to extract the double mesh, as it is called. So let's go to the Weaverbird toolbar, which for me is located here. And let's insert the component. What this component does is that it generates a dual graph from the original mesh. So we're going to use this one as the underlying mesh for our space frame. So let's get the center from our previous mesh. The lines from the dual graph are going to form a part of the space frame. And the second thing we need is the center of the faces from our interior mesh. So let's insert the face normal component. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw 4 lines departing from the center of our interior mesh faces to the corner points from our bounding face lines. So let's first extract the corner points. We can use a component called discontinuity, which will locate the kinks in a curve. So double click in your canvas and type in discontinuity. And link in the bounding curve. So now we have all the 4 corner points from our bounding curve located. So all we need to do now is to draw a line from the inner mesh to the corner points. So let's insert a line component. And in the A, let's connect the corner points from our bounding faces. And in the B, we need to insert the centers from our inner mesh. Make sure you graph the B. And let's connect it. And that's basically it. That's going to be our schematic space frame structure. So let's turn off our meshes so we can see the result a little bit better. So let's go back to Grasshopper and let's give it some thickness. Because of the amount of lines we have in Rhino or in Grasshopper, we can't use the standard pipe command because that will actually generate too much surfaces, so Rhino will actually crash. So we're going to use another component called mesh pipe, which is located under primitive. But before it's actually available, you need to put a GHA in the components directory, which is located here. If you go to File, Special Folders, Components folder, there you need to insert the GHA that's available in the Assets folder. So after you do that, this component will be available. So simply insert this component and let's connect the lines to it. Let's set the radius to 0.1. And let's set the number of segments to 4. So right click and set an integer to 4. And let's set the caps to flat. Now let's connect our lines. So this will take some time because Grasshopper needs to calculate the result. Although their meshes, they're way lighter, but still there are a lot of lines to be taken into account. Now let's take a closer look at the result.